moly, we got some news for you right now, right here on the best show in combat sports. Can we name ourselves that? Can we say that for ourselves? I think we can. We may not have very many viewers. We may not have a lot of subscribers. We may not have a lot of conversation today. But after the fact, oh yeah, this recording may get a couple more views than usual because we actually do have some breaking news right now. That's right. You see it. It's on your screen. Ronda Rousey, Gina Carano? What? On Netflix? What? We saw them training. We thought, maybe they're just, getting into their late 30s, early 40s. Yeah, I'm going to start working out again, get back in shape, Looks like we've got a fight on our hands. May 16th, Saturday, it all goes down, and guess who's promoting this one? The champion of all women, Jake Paul. That's right, MVP is now linked directly to MMA. Netflix is directly linked to MMA. Yes, you heard it right. Right here, right now. We're going to talk about it. What? Where do we even begin? Do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, what is this at all? Who saw this coming? Maybe we did because of the training, but before they started training, before we saw glimpses of them on social media here and there, where did the interest stem from? I mean, years ago, rewind the tape, years ago, there was interest in this. Of course, Gina Carano, one of the pioneers of women's MMA. Ronda Rousey, I mean, she brought this thing to the mainstream, okay? She was the one that blew this up into what it is now, but Gina Carano, a legend in her own right. Of course, there she is rocking the Muay Thai shorts. Ronda Rousey, of course, likes to call herself a boxer, but we know where she comes from. She is a judoka. Much like Kayla Harrison, if you're a new fan, it's kind of what Ronda Rousey was doing back in the day. But anyway, I'll open this up to you guys, anybody out there watching live right now. Maybe we've got a viewer here or there, but we're going to talk it through nonetheless. Whether you're here, whether you're not, and whether you watch this after the fact, we're going to have a great discussion here today. It'll be taking place at the Intuit Dome in Los Angeles, California. Like I said, on Netflix. Five-minute rounds of professional MMA. That's what it says right there on the poster. We can zoom all the way in there for you if you need glasses, if your eyesight isn't too good. I don't know. Pretty crazy. Pretty wild that this is even happening. Let's see if we can find the promo, see if we can get the details. I don't know if we're going to get flagged, get hurt, get in trouble for showing the promo, showing the poster. But it's legit. There they are, in the flesh. There's the man, the snake, the weasel himself, Nikisa Badarian as well behind him. I mean, listen, I'm just not a big fan of the guy. I think he's a little weird, but I don't know, whatever. He seems to be really in it for the women and the empowerment of women and this and that, but come on, it's all about making money. We know the game, buddy. We know the game, but of course he's a former UFC employee. I do believe he was the CFO of the UFC. Could be wrong there. You guys correct me on that. Of course, hold me accountable. I am a hardcore fan, but I'm not the most hardcore. I've met others out there. You guys help me out, keep me responsible, keep me safe and free of danger. Let's check out the promo. Again, like I said, hopefully we don't get flagged for this, whatever. We'll take a watch, take a listen to it. Here it goes. Here we go. Strap in. Ronda Rousey, Gina Carano, getting even more real by the second. But will this eventually happen? We're still a couple months away. There's still time for things to fall apart, somebody to get injured. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but you never know. You never know. Boom, there goes Ronda Rousey kicking the door down. And who is this picking it up? The bombshell herself, Gina Carano. I mean, what a lovely, lovely lady, huh? There they are, like I said, Nikisa Badarian in the back. Face off. They're serious. I mean, two lovely, well, one lovely lady. The other, I mean, maybe not your cup of tea, but Gina Carano, very attractive lady. Dude, they are going to throw down. It's on. All right, Gumby throws a chat in here. Is he real? Is this a bot? I don't know where he's from, but it doesn't matter. Jake Paul versus Ronda Rousey. I got Rousey by TKO. I mean, at this point, Jake Paul seems to have proven himself a good boxer, but can he handle the 4-ounce MMA gloves, Gumby? I don't know if he can. I mean, Ronda Rousey easily knocks out any man, woman alive today. I mean, she would have boxed up Floyd Mayweather. Conor McGregor, he did okay for a round or two, but beyond that, I mean, he had just had nothing for Floyd. Meanwhile, Ronda Rousey would have easily dispatched to Floyd Mayweather. I mean, this is just an absolute utter fact. I mean, there's nothing else to say. She would destroy Jake Paul, who's much larger than her. There's no question there. But again, what do you guys think about this? Drop a comment down in here for me. Let me hear your thoughts. I mean, come on. This is grifting at the highest level. I mean, listen. I am myself a grifter. I will take something and run with it as long as I can. But to try to actually make money off of that and to waste your time here, no. We're a very serious channel. We are joined by the likes once again, by a footless Sean O'Malley. Yeah, he's here in the flesh, a real Sean O'Malley. Yep, he's here to endorse the show. I mean, we can't really get any better than that. But I will say, a headless or nearly headless Israel Adesanya, that's the next best thing. So it's not just Sean, it's Izzy too. And then, of course, we cannot disrespect the great diamond, Dustin Poirier. Yeah, he's here with us. We're ready to rock and roll, ready to get things underway. Of course, if I get my words out properly, I'm a busy guy. It's not all about social media and the internet with me. So we're going to keep talking things through, whether or not I can stumble through a couple of sentences. So again, I plead with you guys, please drop some comments in here. Let's talk it out. Let's discuss. If you guys hate this, let me know. Listen, I'm talking it up, but I'm not the biggest fan. And listen, I'm not the only one. I'm not fucking crazy. Alex Alberto, welcome into the show. Thank you for being here again. Like I always say, this is as much your show as it is mine. Drop your comments in here. Let's discuss. Let's open this thing up to a debate, because I'd love to debate, but I can't debate this. I mean, I just think Nikisa Badarian, he's a bit of a snake, bit of a backstabber, bit of a scumbag. Okay, let's just be honest. He is what he is. I mean, just look at him. He is riding the coattails of Jake Paul. He's decided to latch himself onto Jake Paul. Now, I've latched myself onto some certain characters, some certain figures, some certain stories here and there as a grifter, but that's what I do here. I'm trying to give myself something to talk about, give you guys to talk about something. It's part of the game, but Nikisa's doing it and making millions of dollars off of other people's names. So, if you ask me, bit of a scumbag. That's not all the details that I have to share, but of course, some of this is just speculation. Although I'm not the biggest fan of Nikisa Badarian, and I'm not crazy. Not the only one. Alex doesn't like him either. Okay, just scrolling through the Twitterverse here, seeing if there's anything else crazy going on. Of course, here are the opening odds for you in case you were curious, in case you really are interested in how this fight is going to turn up. Yeah, Ronda Rousey, of course, minus 700 favorite. Gina Carano plus 525. Not looking good for her on the odds, but of course Ronda Rousey had quite a few concussions, gotten her head beat in as of late. Gina Carano took her fair share of beatings back in the day, but it's been a long time since Gina Carano fought. Ronda Rousey, on the other hand, was the former UFC champion. When was that? Back in 2015, 2016, that era, those days. Yeah, it's been a long time since then, but Gina Carano, been an even longer time. Let's go ahead and roll over to Tapology and take a look. Let me get Ronda Rousey's profile pulled up for you. Yep, we'll look here. 12-2 in MMA. Of course, the former judoka, born in 1987. 39 years old. Her current MMA streak is 2 losses. Of course, her stint over in WWE wasn't all that successful either. Of course, she probably made her fair share of cash over there, but I just don't really care. It's WWE. What do I have to say? Not much. Her 2 losses, of course, are to one of the greatest female fighters of all time, if you can call her that, Amanda Nunes. And, of course, if you're listening, we like to joke around. We like to bust balls. We're not going to play it safe. We're going to make jokes. We're going to have fun. You guys can drop it down in here. But thank you, Alex, for dropping another chat here for us. Nikisa pulled the arm of Netflix, is using their money to pay Ronda and Gina while he takes the credit. Dana needs to sue or get a baseball bat and go to Puerto Rico, of course, down there with Jake Paul at the compound. Of course, a bunch of Americans that don't seem to like Puerto Ricans all of a sudden. I mean, listen, I like my fair share of Southern Americans, but listen, I don't know. It's whatever. It's politics. We're not going to discuss that here. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm not a big Daddy Dana fan, but I do like Dana White. I like most of what he stands for. However, on the promotional side of things, the dude fucking sucks at his job right now, and Jake Paul is probably a better promoter at this point. Nikisa Badarian, though, again, just riding the coattails, being an absolute turd, an absolute middleman, if there ever was one. So again, we'll keep rolling through Nope, Ronda. Gina's on my mind, of course. Holly Holm, again, that was her prior loss to Amanda Nunes, so that's 2 losses in a row. But before that, I mean, she beat a who's who in dominant fashion. Wasn't just beating them, but in dominant fashion. Betch Correia, Kat Zingano, Alexis Davis, Sarah McMahon, Miesha Tate, Liz Carmouche. I mean, now we're getting to some familiar names. Miesha Tate again, Julia Budd. I mean, come on, this is good stuff. I mean, she wasn't perfect in judo, in the Olympics, right? She had her Olympic run. Great stuff there for her. That was very impressive, of course, to represent America. Very cool. But Julia Budd, she's still around. Miesha Tate, still sort of around, but of course she's kind of retired at this point. Liz Carmouche, she just got a fucking knockout in the PFL not too long ago, so that's aged very well. Sarah McMahon, she's kicked around in the UFC. Alexis Davis, she's been around. Kat Zingano, I mean, she's been over Bellator, PFL, right? Betch Correia, I mean, she retired, been getting a little thick, but you know what? Back in the day, not a bad fighter, of course, former champion. Right? Am I wrong? Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe, I'm not too old, so sometimes their memory doesn't quite work the way it's supposed to, but that's why I cannot provide you the level of hardcore fandom that you deserve. You guys, again, deserve the best. Sometimes I can't always offer that, so I have to rely on the chat to drop us down in there. Of course, we've got more bots over on the kick side of things. That's always lovely to see. But we'll check out Gina Carano's page, 7-1. Of course, man, she's 43 years old. Still looks great. Still looks to be in good shape now. Last fought 2009. Holy cow. Whew. That loss, of course, came to Chris Cyborg. 1 loss. She's done. She got beat up pretty badly. But prior to that, of course, Tanya Evinger. Big name. Leticia Pestova. These are names that you may not remember if you're a new fan. But listen. Elena Maxwell. Pardon me. And Tanya Evinger are the ones that stand out to me. Big wins there. And Chris Cyborg, of course, the loss, which Chris Cyborg went on to be one of the greatest female fighters of all time, if not the best, still in my opinion, better than Amanda Nunes, even though she lost that head-to-head bout. So, again, you guys let me know. Gina Carano, 2009 was her last fight. I mean, how many years ago was that at this point? 17 years. What in the world are we getting ourselves into here, ladies and gentlemen? Again, I'll open up the chat. You don't remember Julia Kedzie? I'd have to look at her face, man. Once again, Alex, listen, we've got a real hardcore in here. She does look familiar, but I'm not going to pretend like I know all that much. Listen, Alex, hate to break it to you, my friend, but women's MMA, not my forte. Never has been, never will be. But yeah, of course, the legend, Julia Kedzie, she is a fireball. I mean, the nickname, it speaks for itself, okay? This is her. She was the best at one point. Yeah, I don't know much about her. Don't really care to learn much about her. Of course, trained out of Jackson Wink, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. All right, Alex, you win this one. You win this one. Okay. What is our next order of business, though? Maybe we should discuss a little bit of Fight Week. Maybe Alex, Alex seems to be fairly active in the chat right now. We'll wait a second to let him catch up. I'll see if I can pull up some stories. Maybe he wants to talk about something more specific. But until then, I'm going to go back to Twitter, see if I can find my stuff. Of course, like I said, I'm a busy man. I got work. I got things to attend to in real life. I don't have the time to sit here and compile a list of notes and articles. I wish I could. If I could, I would. And until then, we'll see how this goes. Maybe we'll build up a profile, build up a platform. We can actually speak about things in a professional manner. But until then, we'll continue running the highly professional stream that we have here. Okay, lots of memes, lots of Ronda Rousey. I mean, it's all over the Twitterverse right now. All over the place. Can't even find anything else to talk about. But we'll go back to Tapology. Maybe we'll talk Strickland versus Fluffy some more. Who could possibly be on the undercard? Now, that's the question. Alex. What is the undercard going to look like? Of course, MVP is the promotional arm of Jake Paul and the aforementioned Nakisa Badarian. So we start to wonder, what is the undercard going to look like? Is this going to be boxing? Gina Carano's got Muay Thai outfit right there, right? She's got the Muay Thai shorts on. Is this going to be like a mixed thing? Or we're going to have boxing? We're going to have Muay Thai? We're going to have Jiu-Jitsu, Judo on the side of Ronda Rousey? I mean, what is this? Is it going to be all MMA? I mean, are we going to get Chael versus Anderson? Are we going to get Tyron versus Anderson over in boxing? I mean, mix things up, rematch. Is Jake Paul going to fight Nate Diaz on this thing? I mean, what What is this? What are we getting into? That's the big question. Alex, great question. We don't know. We can only speculate. We can only wonder. What the hell is this? And what are we getting ourselves into? So let's see what the actual official press release has to say. MVP, I don't even know what most valuable promotions. Is that what I have to look up on the internet? My God. I mean, if that's not right on the head, then I don't know what is. I mean, we'll take a look at their website, see what we can find. 5-minute professional MMA bouts. Sign up for pre-sale. Oh, women's box. I mean, I just could give two shits, I'll be honest. Here we go. Let's see what we got. MVP athletes. Who could be on the card? Okay. Bunch of women. I don't know any of these people. Oh, there's Amanda Serrano. There's one I know. Alicia Bumgarner. I know her. Beyond that. Who the fuck are these people? Who the fuck? Holly Holm. We know her. Anybody else? Nope. Oh, okay. Male contenders and prospects. Whoa. Luan. Jake Paul. Whoa. See, that's what I wonder. Will Jake Paul be on the undercard? Would he take a co-main event slot there? I don't know. Let's check out what they have to say under the news articles. Holy cow. How do you run a fucking promotion if your last article was written back in November? It has been months since November, and you have nothing to talk about, nothing to discuss. Listen, I take a week off here and there, but this isn't my fucking job. This is not how I'm trying to make money. It just seems like if you're trying to stay in the social and, pop culture zeitgeist, you would be writing some more articles, talking about some more stuff, putting on more events if you even had the money for it. Most Valuable Promotions brings professional MMA to Netflix with Ronda Rousey versus Gina Carano on Saturday, May 16th of 2026, live from the Intuit Dome in Los Angeles, California. Hold up. Some of those girls don't look ugly. Am I right? Oh, Alex. Yeah, I noticed that too. A fair share of those ladies, not too bad. But that's probably why they're fighting for MVP and not a legitimate promotion. Okay. Ronda Rousey returns to the cage after a decade for a dream showdown with Gina Carano. Rousey versus Carano kickoff press conference will take place Thursday, March 5th at the Intuit Dome, hosted by Ariel Hill. Oh, I thought this guy was an MMA guy. Yeah, he's a fucking rat. He's going to go where the money is. Okay, we know how this works. Stop pretending like you're the greatest journalist of all time. Now listen, if he puts out a report, I trust it because what's the right word? See, I'm kind of stupid, okay? So chat, help me out. What's the right word? Anyway, I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to talk to chat like that because I'm not a fucking idiot. But Alex is here. We can talk about it. Tickets go on sale Thursday, March 5th, blah, 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 blah. Most Valuable Promotions and Netflix today announced a colossal MMA showdown headlined by the return of former UFC champion and Olympic gold medalist Ronda Rousey. 12-2, 9 submissions, 3 knockouts versus Combat Sports Trailblazer Gina Carano, 7-1 with 1 submission, 3 KOs, and a featherweight bout at 145 pounds. This event will be professionally sanctioned under the unified rules of MMA and contested over 5-minute rounds using 4-ounce gloves inside a hexagon. No. Octagon, right? Octo, 8, right? Septa is 7. 6? Hexagon. Okay. Who shattered the glass ceiling for female MMA fighters and became the face of an entire sport, male or female, with Carano, the sport's first true crossover star in a highly anticipated fight that has been years in the making. Did they really shatter anything, or was it more Conor McGregor? I mean, Ronda was very popular. Gina, I guess, was her and Chris Cyborg's fight in Strikeforce, was that on CBS? I do believe it was. Again, somebody check me. Throw a comment down there, whether it's live or after the fact. I don't care. Somebody fact check me. Rousey versus Carano represents a historic moment in combat sports as Netflix's first ever live MMA broadcast and MVP's inaugural MMA event. The matchup unites Rousey, the woman who shattered the glass ceiling, blah, blah. Same fucking shit, dude. Did I already read this? Maybe I did. I don't even care. I'm so lost, so bored right now. The event follows the unprecedented global success of MVP and Netflix's boxing partnership, which has redefined the sport for the streaming era. The collaboration reached a historic peak in November 2024 with Paul versus Tyson. I mean, we're talking about 2 years ago now, almost, which shattered records as the most streamed sporting event of all time with 125 million viewers live plus one. The Super Bowl does like 130 on average. While Taylor versus Serrano 2 co-main event became the most watched professional women's sporting event in U.S. history. Okay, bro. How many people watch the Olympics? How many people watch the World Cup? I don't know. Following the massive 2025 successes of Taylor Serrano 3 and Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua Judgment Day, MVP and Netflix are not bringing the same disruptive energy to mixed martial arts. I mean, come on, are they really going to do this thing? They use a hexagon cage in French MMA promotions, and I think World Series of Fighting PFL used to use it. Do they still use it? I feel like their octagon is an octagon now, the PFL, but I know they definitely used to. Some promotions do use a hexagon. I'm playing it up a little bit here, Alex. Tickets will go on sale Thursday. We already read. This is so fucking repetitive. The event will also feature the return of MVP's exclusive VIP experiences, including MVP's owner's experience. Who the fuck's got a fucking $10 million bankroll to cash out on this? I mean, I don't know. Ronda Rousey and Carano will meet face-to-face for, oh my fucking God, this is so repetitive and so stupid. I already fucking read this 3 times. Jeez. Who the fuck is writing this shit? Ronda Rousey completely, this is like AI, okay? This is what AI is right here, right? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Anyway. Ronda Rousey completely transformed the world of martial arts. I mean, I've already read this. Twice now. The self-proclaimed Rowdy Ronda. Rousey, the baddest woman on the planet, was the first American woman to win an Olympic medal in judo since it became an official event. And then Kayla Harrison did it better. Okay. One of the most followed female athletes on social media and an actress who has appeared in both Fast and Furious and The Expendable. I don't fucking care, dog. She's married to former UFC heavyweight contender Travis Brown. Been waiting so long to announce this. Okay, this is a quote. We use quotations. Where's the fucking quotation? There's no quote. There's no quotations here. There's an end quotation, but no beginning. How am I supposed to read this in a female voice, okay? Gina the Conviction Carano pioneered. Blah. Okay. She's an actress, and she's a way better actress than Ronda Rousey. I'll give her that. Ronda came to me and said there's only one person she would make a comeback for, and it has been her dream to make this fight happen between us, said Gina Carano. Not Chris Cyborg, but okay. She thanked me for opening up the doors for her in her career and was respectful in asking for this fight to happen. This is an honor. I believe I walk out with this fight with a win, and I anticipate it will not come easy, which I welcome. This is as much for Ronda and me as it is for the fans in the mixed martial arts community. What a time to be alive. Now, I'd rather watch this than some boring-ass heavyweights at this point, I'll be honest. Even though I'm not a huge fan of the women's side of things. MVP has always been driven by disruption and delivering the highest, biggest moments in combat sports on a global scale. And today we are officially bringing the add energy to MMA for the first time, said Jake Paul and Nikisa. They can't both say that shit at the same time. Of course, this is just a fucking statement. Nothing legitimate. Gabe Spitzer, Netflix VP of Sports, after the record-breaking success in boxing, we want our MMA event to be truly legendary, which we're thrilled to continue our partnership with MVP and bring our together. It's just fucking views. There's no substance here. It's just views. Am I gonna tune in and watch it? Maybe, if I happen to re-up my Netflix subscription, but fuck all, dude. Netflix is expensive as shit. Am I wrong? I don't think so. I'm not a fucking millionaire like Jake Paul and Nikisa Badarian's bald penis-shaped head. Anyway. That's it. That is the press release. That is the official statement from MVP, from Jake Paul, Gina Carano, Ronda Rousey. It's going down May 16th. Big news of the day. Some other big news dropped in yesterday evening. Anthony Smith returning to the cage, to the ring, to fighting in game-bred bare-knuckle MMA. More specifically, a tournament taking place over multiple months throughout the course of 2026. This is very interesting. However, Anthony Turtle Smith, I'm not so sure how this is going to work out for him. But let me pull up a graphic so it looks a little bit prettier for anybody watching out there before I just get boring and read it verbatim. Because again, I'll admit it, I'm a bit of a grifter too. It's what I do. But Anthony Smith versus Chase Sherman, going to be the headliner, or we assume will be the headliner, game-bred bare knuckle. I'm excited to see this. I love the bare knuckle MMA. I've been missing this game-bred shit. I don't know where they get their money from. They clearly don't have enough to fund it long-term, but at least for now, potentially we've got an event in the books. Chase Sherman, the vanilla gorilla himself, of course, he's been making waves outside the cage. I believe he's competed in karate combat, bare knuckle boxing, I believe, maybe. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong there, but again, somebody will check me. But this isn't the only, guys. This isn't the only thing. It's going to be a 16-man tournament at heavyweight. Anthony Smith, former middleweight. I do believe he even fought at welterweight back in the day. I could be wrong on that. But other matchups include Guto Innocente versus Muhammad Usman. Now, that's a fun matchup. If you're a one championship enjoyer, if you're a Glory kickboxing enjoyer, Guto Innocente, he's a fun fighter to watch. Muhammad Usman, more of a wrestler, but who knows, going to strike it out, bare knuckle. Maybe he's got some heavy hands, you know. Alexander Romanov, Nikolai Kovalenko, Bruno Capoloza, former PFL guy, Todd Duffy, former UFC fighter, been around the block. I mean, this is interesting. I'm liking the way this is heading. You guys let me know what you think about this so far. Big headlining fight here with a big name. Anthony Lionheart Smith. Yeah, I feel like George only has this going because he wants some friends to get paid before they retire. Now that isn't a crazy statement to make. Now, if it benefits us as the fans, as the viewers, he was talking TV deals recently on the Ariel Helwani show. I don't know how that's going to work out. I don't know if he's going to be able to actually get a TV deal together. I'm okay with him. Now, I know that it's a business. They got to make money, but streaming it for free on YouTube and just selling ads on the canvas, if that can make you enough money, that's the way I would operate. Because it just opens you up. It gets eyes on it. It gets people interested. It gets people invested in what's going on, right? That's what Dirty Boxing is doing. They're doing a great job. I'd imagine maybe they try to get their rights, maybe go over to Fight Pass. I don't know. I mean, like Dirty Boxing, I feel like they're doing a great job. I feel like they're fairly successful right now. So why not just throw this thing on YouTube and let everybody watch it who can get their eyes on it, and then start to branch out from there and try to figure out where you can get your TV deals. But right now, it's been a long time since you put on an event, almost, I believe, 2024. So, I mean, who knows what's going on? I mean, it's not even listed on Tapology. I'm trying to figure out where I can find their website, something professional, something legitimate to actually go through and talk about. I mean, do they have anything on the book? They do have something. Game-bred Promotions, Bare Knuckle MMA. Here we go. Anthony Smith, Chase Sherman, the only official belt right now. But we've got an event May 1st as well, so not just April 10th, but May 1st. So it'll be this first one will be taking place in the Caribbean, and the second will be in Miami, Florida, headlined by Bruno Capoloza, Todd Duffy, I imagine, unless they get some bigger names, smaller guys to headline. But yeah, big news, interesting stuff here. Guys moving over from, 4-ounce gloves in MMA to no gloves, bare knuckle. It's exciting, dangerous. Cuts open up. I like it. Dangerous. I like the danger. Now, I'm not a big power slap guy, but a little bit of sophisticated violence, I'm all for it. Let's see what the Uncrowned staff put together. Quickly, we'll read through it, get their professional take on the whole thing. Jorge Masvidal is bringing some big money to MMA's regional scene. The former UFC star on Monday unveiled his plans to MMA Junkie for 2 bare-knuckle MMA tournaments in 2026, one at heavyweight and one at lightweight. Now, the lightweight one sounds pretty tasty to me. heavyweight MMA. Not the best. Featuring a menagerie of veteran UFC names with 2 separate $500,000 grand prizes. That I like the sound of. Good for these guys to get a nice payday. Masvidal said the tournaments will take place over the course of 4 rounds, starting on April 10th in the Dominican Republic, with a second event already planned for May 1st in Miami. Headlining Monday's revealed list of participants for the heavyweight bracket is one-time UFC title challenger and current UFC broadcast analyst Anthony Smith. Lionheart Smith. Smith, 37, retired from MMA this past April following a first-round TKO loss to Zhang Minyang in his UFC swan song. Joining Smith in the heavyweight bracket will be fellow UFC veterans Chase Sherman, Muhammad Usman, Alexander Romanov, Todd Duffy, Guto Innocente, as well as former PFL tournament champion Bruno Capello's, a very tall guy, very long-rangey guy. This one's going to be fun. Nikolai Kovalenko. Listen, these aren't the best heavyweight fighters, but they're not the worst. They're not the fattest of the fat, okay? So the announced matchups as for the heavyweight tournament so far: Anthony Smith, Chase Sherman, Guto Innocente, Muhammad Usman, Alexander Romanov, Kovalenko, Capello's, and Todd Duffy. We already discussed this. Masvidal is expected to reveal the names of the other 8 heavyweight tournament participants in the coming days. Masvidal's game-bred bare-knuckle MMA shows have featured plenty of notable UFC veterans in the past, including former heavyweight champion Junior Dos Santos, Roy Nelson, Alan Belcher, Hector Lombard, that's a good one, Francisco Trinaldo, and among others. Who else has been on those cards? Randy Costa, that was a good fight he had back in the day. That was probably 2 years ago now, maybe 3. Game-bred bare-knuckle has been on hiatus since November 15, 2024, so over a year. However, Masvidal now appears committed to bringing it back in a surprising big way. I mean, is this a way to do it? I don't know. Tournaments in one night, very exciting. Tournaments over the course of time, you open yourself up to injuries and other things like that, and things don't always fall out the way that we would like them to. So here's a quote from Masvidal to wrap this thing up. "I don't mind taking the loss from a smaller gate for making a huge statement online. We're giving as much money as we can to the fighters. Really, who's doing anything right now? It's just worked out perfectly. Never wanted to leave the whole time I was working. In the shadows, in the back, it's what the business owners do. I was just hustling, brother. Seeing what I could do, what networks I could get on board, what sponsors I could bring on the board. I did everything to keep the dream alive, just like fighting. I was able to secure some funds. So here we go." Alrighty, taking a look at the chat here. No motion. Dropping a little emoji there for us. Dead eye emoji. Thank you for that. I don't know what that means or what you mean by it, but that's it. That's our next story in the books. You guys let me know. What do we think about Anthony Smith going into bare knuckle MMA? Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know. Anthony Smith. What are we doing, my friend? What are we getting ourselves into here? Is this going to be another turtle up rolling around on the ground? Maybe so. Of course, I do believe it was in a ring. If I stand corrected, somebody again fact check me there. Maybe it was a ring. Maybe it was a cage. I don't remember. It's been so long, I can't remember. Oh, MMA Joey's made it mainstream now. "Never forget when on camera Tom Aspinall's team tried to get the doctor to examine his eyes to justify him quitting, and he laughed in his face. The same doctor said they found no serious eye damage."
See that? You can see this now.
He went to a fucking doctor in the Middle East. Now, no offense to anybody who's out there watching the Middle East. I love you. I appreciate you. But the medical standards over in the Middle East are not anywhere fucking near the same as they are in the Western world. Okay? This fucking dude, this MMA Joey, I'm tired of seeing him on my page. I see him there all the time, leaving dumbass comments, retarded shit. I mean, he is just pulling this shit for pure engagement purposes. He's a fucking idiot. None of anything he says is to be trusted. None of anything he says is to be believed. Now, do I trump myself up? Do I turn my personality up to an 11 for this? Yes, I do. Do I play up a character a little bit? Sure. But I'm also trying to come to you with some common sense. A little bit of entertainment, but mostly common sense. Brian Suterer, MD. Shout out to this dude. One of the most professional YouTube pages you will see. Does great breakdowns on all of not just MMA injury breakdowns, but sports breakdowns. This guy is the trained professional. He is the go-to, has a great channel, very calm, very collected, assesses the situation, lays out all the possibilities, and has done a great job covering this. Has been on the Ariel Helwani show, broke everything down. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of Ariel, but Brian Suderer, this dude is a fucking legend. He's been around the game for a long time, been a big fan of his for a long time, and he's getting more into the MMA world because it's becoming more mainstream. More people got eyes on MMA. And he just absolutely fucking dunked all over, took his dick out, smacked it on the face of MMA Joey, and left MMA Joey just absolutely destroyed here. You're being an insensitive, attention-seeking clown. But congrats on your 5 minutes of engagement. Drop the fucking mic there, Brian. Shout out to Brian Suderer. Listen. If I was professional, I'd get this guy on the show every fucking day to break down shit over the weekend for MMA. But he's busy, man. He's still a practicing surgeon, doctor, does the whole thing. I mean, he knows his shit. He knows his shit. Basketball, go check him out. If you're a fan, MMA, whatever. Great YouTube channel. Anytime there's any kind of viral injuries in sports, this guy's right on it. And I love him even more for absolutely dunking all over MMA Joe. I mean, what a fucking clown this guy is. What a fucking clown. Rage bait with facts. I'm looking at my numbers, live viewers right here. I don't need to have that many viewers to be able to spew truth, okay? I don't need to have a large audience. I don't need to be making money here to have morals. MMA Joey does not have morals. And another man who has some pretty good morals, Capitan Ralph Fuccio, fellow creator, fellow truther, for the most part. Do we trump things up? Do we play characters, Ralph Fuccio? Yes, we do. But at the end of the day, I gotta say that a spade is a spade, okay? We gotta call it like we see it. We gotta be honest. We gotta try to be as unbiased as possible. But of course, this is MMA. You have your favorite fighters. You have the guys you love. You like your characters. So of course, when Ian Gary, a boring-ass motherfucker, is talking shit about guys that are nowhere near as boring as him, I'm going to stand up for those fighters, and I'm going to try to dunk all over Ian Gary because I fucking hate that motherfucker's guts because he's a fucking little snivel, okay? He's just a little snuffle, just a little nothing on the side of my nose. I brush him off like he's nothing because he offers zero, brings zero to the table. Terrible personality, terrible character, and an even worse and boring fighter. Now, he is a great fighter. He's a great fighter. I can admit that, but he's fucking terrible. Anyway, this is why the MMA community is infected with some toxic content creator who's been falling with the clickbait shit. And another man I have to lump in there, Ralph Fuccio, might stick around, he might not, he might jump out of here, but he brings up a phenomenal point. Ruben fucking Carter, I will speak his name. Others do not like to speak his name, but Ruben Carter on Twitter, one of the worst pages out there. This guy just click farms, he rage bait, whatever it fucking is. I don't know what it's called. I'm not really up with the lingo. Of course, I'm an old soul and I don't really spend a lot of time on social media. As you can see, this is just me giving you an honest breakdown, honest reaction. It is what it is. You see it, you call it, you do it. Yeah, that's it. I come at this thing with relative unbias. Now, I have my favorites, and of course, you cannot pretend to be unbiased. You're not. If you're covering the sport, if you're a fan of the sport, you can really not be that unbiased. But you can try to be, and I do try to be. But yeah. Josh Thompson of the Weighing In podcast. I mean, they're running at like 0 views at this point. Back in the day, early, 2019, 2020, 2021. I mean, it was the best of the best. It was the best podcast out there. Big John McCarthy, he had the referee perspective. Josh Thompson had the fighter perspective. They were doing great interviews across the board. Now, Josh Thompson running this thing by himself. It's fucking terrible. And he went out there and really tried to sell us on the fact that Tom Aspinall was made to vacate the title and that Ciryl and Alex Pereira might be fighting. Or they are fighting. He said this like it was an absolute fact. Hey guys, rumor is, I've heard through the grapevine, this, that, and the other. No, you didn't. You read something on social media like any other fucking retard that lives on the internet, and you decided to run an entire story, an entire video about that. No, you're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot. All you're doing is trying to farm views by saying that shit. And guess what? It fucking worked. Great job, Josh Thompson, your integrity went right out the window. Now, it's been out the window for me for quite a long time. This guy is a former MMA fighter, deeply connected at AKA with Habib, DC, all those boys back in the day. He's connected to the industry. Reach out to somebody and confirm some shit before you start talking about it like it's absolute fact. You fucking idiot. Stupid motherfucker, Josh Thompson. I'm sorry. I used to listen to this guy. I used to love him. Used to be there tuning in all the time. I do still value some of his opinions, absolutely. But at this point, this dude sold his fucking soul to be internet famous, okay? Is that what I'm trying to do here? To 0 viewers? To 0 chats rolling in? No. I enjoy this. I have a good time here. You guys, if you're tuning in after the fact, if you're tuning in live, if you're out there lurking right now, you enjoy this sport. You like hearing about the sport. You like talking about the sport, like I do. Do I get all my facts correct? No, but I try to see, okay, that's obviously fucking bullshit. They made him vacate the title, and Alex Pereira and Cyril Gane is an absolute done deal. No, it's not. It's possible. It's a possibility. But nobody has heard anything about it. No, there's no rumblings. There's no movement on that we know of. You read some fucking stupid tweet and you said, I've heard that it. No. You read something online like any other dope that lives out there in the world. Any other human being could have done the same thing. Okay, you didn't hear reports. You didn't gather information from inside guys, okay? You don't have guys on the inside. Maybe he does. Reach out to him first before you start spewing dumb shit that's completely, utterly untrue. Okay, because other media outlets, they're going to run with it. They're going to hear that Josh Thompson, former MMA fighter, he's got connections in the industry. He knows something, but unfortunately, he did not. He was wrong, and I fucking hate him for it. Tired of it, man. Anyway, we'll keep talking about something else. We got to change topics because I'm getting too fired up, too pissed off. Josh Thompson's put me over the edge, so maybe we'll give a little bit of a rundown. I mean, if you guys are still out there, let me know what's going on. Let me know your opinion. Drop it down in here. Maybe you disagree. I'd like to go back and forth with you. Convince me. If I can't convince you, you convince me, or we'll just meet in the middle and call it where it is. So I'll leave it up to you guys for a minute. Leave the chat there. Do your thing if you want. If not, perfectly okay with that too. Happy with your viewership nonetheless. If you're here, if not, that's okay too. I'm just talking out into the ether here. But again, Sean Strickland, Anthony Hernandez coming up this week. Big time matchup in the UFC rankings. Of course, the fifth versus the fourth guy. Okay, Fluffy on a heck of a run. 8-fight win streak up to this point against a who's who of contenders in the middleweight division. Sean Strickland, a perennial top 5 contender at this point. Many main events. This will be his first one in terms of a big American crowd main eventing it. Sean Strickland getting his due. Very popular up to this point, but falling on rough times here. A couple of losses to Dricus du Plessis mixed in there with a Paulo Costa win, of course, in a co-main event not too long ago. But Jeff Neal, Uros Medic, they round out the co-main event. I want to say big-time matchup at 170, but it's really not. Jeff Neal, of course, Texan guy. Dan Ige, Melky Costa, that's going to be a big one. That's a great fight at 145. 2 big-time prospects, right? Well, I say prospect. What am I fucking talking? No. Rewind the tape. Dan Ige is not some prospect. He's a middle-of-the-road gatekeeper. Let's call him what it is. Let's call him what he is. He's a gatekeeper at this point. And I don't say that in a negative way. If you can't beat Dan Ige, you ain't going to be anything special, okay? Melky Costa will be taking on a tough, gritty veteran in Dan Ige. Melky Costa is the hot prospect. He's on a streak. He's ready to go. His last loss, of course, to Steve Garcia, who is rapidly ascending those featherweight rankings himself. So, listen, we've got a prospect versus the veteran. Big matchup. Who's coming? Who's going? Can Dan Ige stay on tap? Can he stay in the UFC? Can he keep things going afloat here with a win? Ooh, yes, Alex. Perfect timing here. Great chat. Maybe we'll roll up from the bottom here. Of course, yesterday I did mention that Josiah Harrell did have brain cancer. I was wrong. It wasn't brain cancer. It was a specific brain disease, a rare brain disease. Josiah Harrell coming back, gets a couple of wins. He'll be taking on Jacoby Smith. But again, we'll roll down to the bottom of the card. Like I said, Carly Judice, one of the few ladies out there that I do actually like watching. She seems like she really wants to fight. She seems like she wants to put some hurt on some other ladies, and I respect that. I actually enjoy that. So this might be one of those few women's fights that I will tune in for. Meanwhile, Alex, you said it. You laid it out for us perfectly. Yadier Davaye is back after Isaac Dolgarian almost got him arrested by Kash Patel and the FBI. Of course, they're all over that. That story's still developing. We're going to cover it when news comes towards us immediately. And again, I'll ask you once again, please like, share, comment, subscribe. Do that whole thing so that we can keep this thing going. I want this show to be fun. I want you guys to be included in it. If you're watching right now, don't forget, drop that like, drop the sub, do whatever you need to do. If not, that's up to you. But I plead, I beg. Maybe I'll get on my hands and knees if I need to. But listen, I'm not trying to be famous, not trying to get too big, okay? We don't want to get too big. We don't want to get mainstream. We don't want to get discovered. We don't want to get famous. We just want to keep it low-key, real simple, grounded, okay? Grounded in reality. Don't want to get too big for our britches here. But yes, this one's an interesting one at lightweight. Jordan Levitt back at 145, okay. Jordan Levitt, bit of an interesting character. Bit of a flamboyant, fruity character. Yadier Davaye, going to be a good test. Was the win over Isaac Dolgarian legitimate? Isaac Dolgarian is one of the toughest first-round fighters that anybody could come against in the prospects, in the rankings, wherever he may lay, okay? This guy is a fucking machine in the first round, an absolute marauder in the first round. And then he laid over, and the FBI is all over it. Of course, we've got the betting scandal. We've got the collusion. Who knows who's involved in this? Was Yadier Davaye involved in it? Maybe. Does it go that deep? Of course, he's fighting again, so I don't know how they let this guy fight. I mean, he was involved in it, and he probably had no fault in it. But you're connected to a fight that had something going on, some sort of corruption. And, okay, I guess he's back in there. But now 10-0. Was it legit? Is he going to steamroll Jordan Levitt, who's a tough out, great jiu-jitsu player himself? We'll see. Jordan Levitt, a veteran. Yadier Davaye. I'm interested. If he can do that same kind of thing, we might have a prospect here. But John Paul Labosiani versus Philip Rowe. Of course, Philip Rowe, great character on the outside of things when he goes over. He was doing CJI last year. Again, I said this yesterday. Great commentating. Great voice. Great personality on the mic. I mean, this guy is the next big thing. UFC, you want some personality. You want some interesting characters who can actually talk about the sport and not just Chris Weidman and Dustin Poirier, who can barely string a sentence together. As much as I love those guys, come on. Philip Rowe, Bobby Green, good, well-spoken guys. They also hit on all the demographics. They also bring actual character, actual personality, not just a stiff cardboard box cutout of a guy, okay? Yeah, Juliana Miller, freaky on Instagram. Oh, yeah, I've seen some stuff. I'm picking her. Carly Judice is too mean, man. She is too mean, too nasty. She's beaten better girls than Juliana Miller. She's beaten girls that have beaten Juliana Miller already, so you might pick her because she's hot or whatever, but Carly Judice, she's not too bad looking. She's a cute little lady. All right. Give respect where it's due. Ramiz Brahimaj versus Puna Soriano. We got a grappler versus a striker. We got I almost said middleweight, even though I've talked about this fight for, I don't know, days at this point. But it's going to be at 170. Ramiz Brahimaj, he's ascending. Puna, kind of middle of the road. He's only got 4 losses here, even though it feels like a lot more. The dude is a fucking beast. I mean, this dude is a fucking unit, and he goes in there and he just tries to swing and bang with everybody. Nora Canole versus Jocelyn Edward, I don't care. Alden Correa versus Luis Garul. At this point, both these guys 125. Still, they'll call them prospects, but at this point, it's time to nut up or shut up. Okay, this is go time for these guys. Somebody needs to make a statement here in this fight to really, really bump up the rankings. Meanwhile, former Ultimate Fighter guy Ali Bibi versus Idris versus Ode Osborne, same kind of thing. Ode Osborne, always entertaining, but I mean 13-9 at this point. Like it's time to, if you want to really get after that belt, I'm afraid that time has passed. Okay, but Ali Bibi, whatever his name is, Idris out of Kazakhstan, looks like Shavkat Rakhmonov, kind of fights like him too, but at 125, he is fast-paced. I don't know if Ode Osborne can handle it at this point. Ode Osborne, I mean, check him out. I mean, what is his age at this point? 34 years of age. It's 125. You got to be quick, got to be fast, got to be skilled to keep up with these guys, and these young guys coming up are dangerous. Carlos Leal versus Chidi and Joe Kawani. This is going to be a fun one while it lasts. Of course, two guys that look like they're absolutely roided out of their minds. One might be natural, one might not be. Carlos Leal, I'm not going to make any accusations, but if you know, you know. Carlos Leal, of course, got knocked out by Muslim Salikov. Chidi and Joe Kawani been up and down trying to make 170. Can't quite make 170. We'll see if he can even make weight at this point. But this is going to be a fun one on the feet here, guys. This is going to be a good one. Muay Thai versus kind of just a marauder, a brawler, a physical fighter, and Carlos Leal. So it's going to be fun. Meanwhile, Zachary Reese, Michelle Pereira, I mean, that's got just a war written all over. That might be a 30-second war. That might be a 10-minute war. That might be a 15-minute knockdown, drag-out, super slow motion third round because these two guys go all guns a-blazing in the first round, and I'm expecting somewhere, somehow, someone to get a finish. Like I mentioned, Josiah Harrell, this guy was dealing with a severe, dangerous brain tumor disease. I don't know exactly what happened, but he had a part of the brain removed. I mean, both guys right here, 11-0, but 4 in a row rattled off since he got that surgery. He was supposed to debut in the UFC years ago. Jacoby Smith, he's a hot prospect, good guy, dangerous guy as well, 11-0, both prospects, both guys trying to get finishes, trying to work their way up the rankings, trying to get minutes in the cage too. That's the big thing here. I'm surprised they got them matched up against each other. This is going to be a fun one as well. I mean, that's a good, solid little slate. 3 fights in a row that are just damn solid. Meanwhile, we've got Sergey Spivak, Ante Delia. There in the middle. Okay, another one, another heavyweight fight. Sergey Spivak, please, Ante Delia, please prove to me that you're better than what the PFL says. Please prove to me that Waldo Cortez of Costa near finish was more than just nothing. Let's get a finish here. Let's move up the rankings. We need to get fit guys that are actually in shape up the rankings at heavyweight. Like I said, Dan Ige, we already talked about this one. We talked about the top 3. Great top 3. Great little slot there in the middle of the card. I mean, we got a good main card here of fights. Gonna be fun. Gonna be fun. Ante needs to redeem himself. You can't have Waldo rolling around on the ground in pain and agony and then get knocked out. I mean, that was just such an adrenaline dump. You gotta imagine, Alex. Such an adrenaline dump to think that you got to finish. For Mark Smith to allow that continue without checking for the eye poke, without doing the proper procedure and the proper review, and giving you basically a win by allowing the doctors, allowing the cut man, allowing everybody to come in the cage, essentially signaling to you that you got to win. The adrenaline dump, everything, huge moment. You're jumping up the rankings, and then they fucking restart the fight. Terrible, terrible job by Mark Smith. The way that he handled that, absolutely abhorrent. Should have been ruled a no contest, whatever they needed to do, run it back immediately. Terrible to see Waldo get eye poked there, but then to come back and get the knockout, of course, he gets a second chance at life, completely revived. Mark Smith waved that fight off as if it were a finish and then allowed it to continue. If you're going to wave it off and say it was a finish, you got to say it's a finish. And then after the fact, then you can rule it a no contest if that's what they need to do. But to have them restart and then Ante's got to get that high, celebrate all that, and then come back. Come on. Come on. How do you expect a guy to perform after that? If Sean loses, do you think he'd retire? He won't, but should he? I don't think he'll retire. I mean, it's possible. I know that he knows that his fame, his popularity, has been quite a fall from grace. Okay, he had his moment as champion, was saying a lot of stuff. Of course, the politics and just the way he is. I mean, he's a fun character. He is a great character. He's an honest guy, calls it like he sees it. Not my favorite character. I mean, I don't think I like him much as a fighter, really. His style, it can be boring. But again, it's up to his opponents to make the fights interesting because he's always in your face. His defense is on point. And I don't know. I don't think he retires. I don't think he gets beat up too badly here either. I think he could get submitted. I think he'd get worn down over the course of the 5 rounds. But we know Sean Strickland has great cardio too. So it's an interesting matchup. I really don't know what we're going to see. Of course, there's rumors floating around there that Fluffy was dealing with some kind of injury that's lingering still even after he signed the fight. I mean, I don't know. But I don't think Sean retires. I mean, that definitely knocks him out of the top 5, I would say, for sure. Fluffy, I mean, he's been, to me, a top 5 contender for well over a year at this point. The guys he's fighting, the toughest matchups, they always are given Fluffy, of course, minus that Roman Dolidze fight. I mean, this guy's taking killers up the rankings as he's been ascending through the middleweight top 15, right? 15-2 record, 32 years of age. I mean, it's time to go, man. It's time to give him what he deserves. He's not that boring. I think they're holding him back. I think they could easily have pushed this guy earlier than he did. But, I mean, Roman Kopylov, when he beat him, he was a hell of a fighter. Michelle Pereira, tough guy. Brendan Allen. I mean, Brendan Allen's Brendan Allen, right? Tough guy, top 10 guy, top 5 guy, in my opinion. I think Brendan Allen is that good. Roman Dolidze, last time out, not so much, but it was a short notice kind of thing. Edmund Shabazian, hell of a prospect in and of himself. Marc-Andre Barriol, we know how tough that guy is. Josh Fremd, Rodolfo Vieira, though, to submit Rodolfo Vieira, crazy work to do that, to get that done. So that pretty much does it for us. And talking about that, so again, I'll leave it up to you guys. If you have anything to add to the conversation, I'm open to it. I'm listening. But for now, that might be where we leave it. I mean, we talked about Ronda Rousey. We talked about Game Bread Bare Knuckle. We talked about Anthony Hernandez versus Sean Strickland, the big main event going down this weekend. So we'll open it up for just a second. I'll get a sip of water. And maybe, just maybe, we'll head on out of here. So thank you guys for tuning in live. Thank you, Alex, for dropping some chats. Captain Rafucho, he was also here. Appreciate everybody for jumping in here live. Anybody who's out there lurking, enjoying from afar, just listening, I appreciate it nonetheless. What do I think of Zuffa boxing? Now, I did think, Alex, we talked about this yesterday a bit. I thought the fights were pretty entertaining. Am I super invested in it? Not too much, but I do think that the matchmaking, I do think that most of the fights have been very entertaining. They're picking guys that are specifically entertaining boxers, not just point fighters, but actually good boxers aside from maybe Callum Walsh, but we'll see. Not much. I don't have much to say. This was my first time watching it. It was, of course, their third event. Max Kellerman really likes to talk up Zuffa boxing, how it's the best thing ever. I think he's a little bit overboard on some things, but overall, great show aside from the desk crew made up of Molly Karam and Mark Kriegel. Not a fan of those. But yeah, Dana said it's like beating up babies, taking on the boxing world. And you know what? At this point, they're running events and all the other guys aren't saying much about it. So maybe them not saying much, trying not to bring or shed too much light on it. So I'm optimistic. I'm hopeful that this can turn into something. I do think boxing has a huge issue, but I don't know if Zuffa boxing is really differentiating themselves enough other than just having entertaining fights, good knockouts. I mean, it was fun. It was a good night of fights. Early night. Didn't take too long to watch a boxing card. The pace, I thought, was pretty good. Kind of run it like a Contender Series show, kind of like UFC, just one fight after another. I like that. I'm tired of the boxing. I'm tired of the, this, and we're going to talk about this, and it's going to be an hour in between fights. We're going to put on a concert. None of that. Cut the bullshit out. Let's just get to the fights. I'm excited to see Joy Opataya fighting in a couple weeks, early March. So stay tuned. That's what I would say, Alex. Stay tuned. Will Dana continue beating up boxing like they're little babies, or will they start to fight back and try to do something? I don't care. I think if the fighters, if they're okay with getting paid what they're getting paid and getting treatment and nutritionists and all that provided to them by the UFC Performance Center, hey, I don't have a problem with that. Even if they're not getting paid the most possible money, you're getting treated like a real athlete. I think that matters to them, especially boxers coming from typically rough upbringings, trying to make it in the world. Listen, if you're a fighter starting out, even just making $1,000 to fight, that's a lot of money, okay? I'm a young guy. I'm not rich. I haven't made it, okay? In life, not really. Still working my way up in my career. $1,000 goes a long way. So if you're fighting for 10 and 10 on a Zuffa boxing card, when you could have been making $100 on the regional scene under normal boxing standards, they can fuck off. I don't care if the top guys are not making $100 million. Who the fuck needs $100 million every time they fight unless they're bringing massive, massive numbers to the table? I think it's okay what they're doing for now. We'll see how this plays out. I wonder what Jai Opataya, who's the best cruiserweight in the world, is going to be getting paid. We'll see. We'll see. So I'm holding out hope. Alex, thank you. You were a big participant today, so you win my MVP badge, my sticker of the day. Good show, live stream. Tune in to the next one whenever it is. Hopefully we can get one going tomorrow, of course. Always trying to stay busy, so stay tuned. Again, subscribe, hit the notification bell for the live streams. I don't put out a lot of videos. I just don't have a lot of time to be editing and doing all the fancy stuff, but I do enjoy it. So if we can get this thing going, we can get some more people in here on a consistent basis. Maybe, just maybe, we can start running some more consistent show. Would like to get back to that. I got a couple videos out recently. Those have been, they've been okay, but we got some good ones from back in the day, Alex, if you just want to listen to some videos, see how we run things around here. But I appreciate you being here. Maybe Alex is gone, and I'm talking to nobody right now, but For everybody out there listening now or in the future, hope you have a great day and enjoy the rest of your afternoon. So until next time, I will see you very, very soon.